This little girl is Lily. Her mother, Maria, had died, and signs of livor mortis were visible on her face. Yet Lily firmly believed her mother was not dead, feeding her medicine every day, convinced that her mother would recover if she kept taking it. 3 days later, a foul smell caught the neighbors' attention, so they followed the scent and broke into the house, discovering the body. Lily's father, David, rushed over after receiving the news, only to find Lily still trying to feed her deceased mother porridge. David's mistress, Olivia, also arrived and bluntly informed Lily that her mother had died. Lily, unwilling to believe it, broke down in tears and tried to hold her mother's hand. Maria's body was then sent to the hospital, but Lily couldn't let go of her mother, unaware that her mother's spirit was following her, always by her side. Then, Lily overheard an old woman mentioning a deity on Spirit Mountain who was known for fulfilling wishes if one prayed sincerely. The next day, Lily placed her mother's body on a cart and went to Spirit Mountain, bowing deeply every few steps. She knelt down, tearfully pleading with the deity to bring her mother back to life. Her forehead bleeded from the repeated kowtows. Despite her exhaustion, she continued pulling her mother's body along, praying with all her heart. Maria's spirit watched her daughter, feeling an intense pain, but was unable to touch her. Eventually, Lily collapsed from exhaustion, and Maria, desperate to help but powerless, was filled with hatred toward her cruel husband. 1 month earlier, Maria had been diagnosed with terminal cancer and given only 3 months to live. She had called her husband, David, hoping he'd come to take her home, but he coldly refused, claiming he was in a meeting. Shortly afterward, Maria accidentally ran into him, finding him at the hospital with his mistress Olivia, who was there for a prenatal checkup. When Maria confronted him, he slapped her. She couldn't understand why he was so heartless and ungrateful. 7 years ago, when David's business went bankrupt, his then-girlfriend Olivia had left him. It was Maria who took out her entire savings to marry him, helping him rebuild his career. Now, this heartless man told her that he had never loved her and only wanted her money. Furious, Maria slapped both Olivia and her husband. David then took Olivia in his arms and coldly informed Maria that they would be divorcing within a week. Knowing that she would not live to watch her daughter Lily grow up, Maria began teaching Lily basic life skills like boiling water and cooking so that she could become more independent. Maria agreed to the divorce but demanded $30 million as compensation. She then amended her will, ensuring that the entire sum would go to Lily after her death. To prevent David's mistress from meddling, she hid the document inside Lily's stuffed toy and told her to keep it safe. Suddenly, she felt dizzy and collapsed onto the bed. Meanwhile, David was with Olivia and their son. Lily called her father for help, but Olivia answered the phone and heartlessly hung up. Maria coughed up blood and her daughter cried helplessly. Her daughter brought her some medicine, only to find her motionless and unresponsive. Lily braved the pouring rain to go out and buy medicine, but she was repeatedly turned away. In the rain, she encountered an old monk, and she gave him her umbrella, continuing her search for medicine without any cover. She finally reached a pharmacy and took out all her savings, only to be told it was still not enough. She knelt on the ground, begging the pharmacist to sell her the medicine, and a kind old lady offered to pay the remainder for her. When she got home, Lily took a towel and gently wiped her mother's face, poured her a glass of water, and fed her the medicine. Then, she carefully moved her mother to the sofa and brought a basin of water to wash her feet. Maria, now a spirit, stood beside her daughter, but she was unable to embrace her poor daughter. In her desperation to revive her mother, Lily secretly entered the hospital morgue and stole her mother's body. To prevent the taxi driver from noticing that her mother was dead, she covered her face with a scarf. Upon arriving at Spirit Mountain, Lily kowtowed countless times, begging the deity to bring her mother back to life, until she finally collapsed from exhaustion. In her dreams, she saw the old monk she had met in the rain. When she awoke, she found herself in the hospital, with her father expressing concern and wanting to take her home. Olivia pretended to be kind, but once David left, she revealed her true colors, forcing Lily to do chores. Olivia's son insulted Lily, calling her a bastard, which led to an argument. Olivia slapped and beat Lily, and Maria's spirit tried to intervene but failed. Olivia wanted to take the 30 million inheritance Maria had left behind, so she pretended to be sweet and asked Lily if she knew where the money was hidden. Remembering her mother's instructions, Lily claimed she didn't know. Enraged, Olivia grabbed a pot of boiling water, threatening to scald Lily if she didn't reveal the truth. Just as she was about to pour the hot water on her, David returned, and Olivia immediately stopped, resuming her fake kindness. David showed more concern for Olivia than for his own daughter, leaving Lily feeling estranged from her father. Lily ran out of the house with her stuffed toy, crying and searching for her mother, unaware that a truck was speeding toward her. Just as the truck was about to hit her, Maria's spirit tried to shield her. Maria then found herself in a dream where she also met the old monk. He told her that she was about to be resurrected but would return with a new identity, Rose. He warned her not to reveal her true identity, as doing so would cause her to die again. Thus, Maria was reborn. She saw her daughter in the hospital, relieved that Lily had survived the accident. From this moment on, she was called Rose. She would protect her daughter and take revenge on her husband and his mistress. In her new identity, Rose wore a mask and staged an encounter with CEO Michael in a bar, accidentally falling into his arms. She advised him against collaborating with David's company due to recent stock fluctuations, handing him a business card with her name and title, Stock Market Analyst, Rose. Later, she ran into her ex-husband David, who found her familiar and grabbed her hand. She denied knowing him and walked away. Following her advice, Michael delayed collaborating with David's company. Meanwhile, Olivia's son forced Lily to place an apple on her head as he threw darts at it, frightening her to tears. Just as he was about to throw multiple darts at once, David walked in and, seeing the scene, angrily scolded his son. But David's mother defended her grandson, stopping David from disciplining him further. Olivia falsely claimed that Lily had suggested the game, and when Lily denied it, David accused her of lying, leaving Lily heartbroken. She pushed him away and ran into her room, sobbing. Rose, disguised as a janitor, entered Michael's company and noticed the stock was plummeting. She suggested they adjust the stock price immediately and sell off shares. Before long, the stock price rebounded, helping Michael's company recover hundreds of millions in losses. Michael, impressed, asked what she wanted in return, and she requested the position of general manager, which he granted. Meanwhile, Olivia deliberately left Lily behind and told her to run after the car to build her strength. Watching her daughter's suffering, Rose vowed to make this vicious mistress pay. Olivia and her future mother-in-law then went to the insurance company to claim the 30 million, but Lily intervened, leading the grandmother to angrily shove Lily. At that moment, Rose appeared. Mistaking her for her mother, Lily clung to her tightly, but Rose denied being her mother. Olivia and David's mother were horrified, with the latter suspecting that Maria had faked her death. Just as she raised her hand to strike Rose, Rose slapped her back, finally venting her pent-up anger from years of mistreatment. The grandmother called David, who arrived to find his supposedly dead ex-wife standing before him. He grabbed her hand, only to realize that her hand lacked the mole Maria had. Rose pulled her hand away, slapping him and accusing him of harassment. Furious, the grandmother attempted to strike Rose again, but Michael intervened, introducing Rose as his new general manager. Rose accused David and his family of scheming to seize his late wife's inheritance and suggested to Michael that collaborating with such a person would be unwise. So Michael promptly decided against the partnership. A few days later, David brought a bouquet of flowers to apologize to Rose and invited her to a family dinner. Olivia told her future mother-in-law that she had specifically prepared mangoes, as Maria was allergic to them, hoping that tonight they would find out if Rose was truly Maria. Will Rose eat the mango and expose her true identity? Stay tuned for the next part of the story. The mean grandmother refused to let her granddaughter, Lily, eat at the main table, forcing her to sit at a small table nearby. David brought Rose home, and Lily, seeing this woman who looked exactly like her late mother, excitedly called her Mom. However, Rose once again denied being her mother. She criticized the family for their cruelty towards the little girl, but the grandmother remained unapologetic. David's mistress, Olivia, brought out a plate of mangoes, knowing that the late Maria was allergic to them. Olivia intended to use the mangoes to test Rose's identity. Rose, smiling, ate the mangoes and even praised their sweetness, leaving the rest of the family shocked and convinced she wasn't Maria. However, what they didn't know was that Rose had taken allergy medication before entering the house. After the meal, Rose pretended to twist her ankle, and David caught her just in time, unaware that she had secretly taken a strand of his hair. At that moment, CEO Michael arrived to pick Rose up, only to witness David holding her. Feeling a pang of jealousy, he tried to stay calm. Meanwhile, Lily ran outside, desperately holding onto Rose and begging her not to leave. She even chased Rose's car down the road, eventually falling to the ground. Rose was heartbroken, but was stopped by Michael, who urged her to keep calm. Michael comforted her, saying this temporary separation was for the sake of being together forever in the future. Rose then revealed her next plan to Michael, gradually acquiring David's company. She also intended to conduct a DNA test using the strand of hair she had taken, suspecting that Olivia's son might not be David's biological child. A month later, Michael had successfully acquired 31% of David's company shares for Rose. However, the remaining shares belonged to core members of the company and were unobtainable for now. David still owned 59% of the shares, but Rose was undeterred, determined to take her ex-husband's company one day. During this month, Rose spent time with Lily weekly, bringing joy back to the little girl's life despite being unable to reveal her true identity. One day, Rose noticed bruises on Lily's arm and asked who had hit her. Lily confessed it was her grandmother. Enraged, Rose decided to accelerate her revenge plans. David, on the other hand, was growing increasingly anxious as he failed to identify the mysterious figure buying shares of his company. Sensing a threat, he decided to approach Rose to discuss a potential project collaboration. Olivia tried to stop him, fearing he would fall for Rose, who resembled his late wife Maria. But David reassured Olivia, telling her not to overthink it. Rose agreed to the collaboration on the condition that David give her $30 million and 10% of his company's shares. After some hesitation, David agreed, reasoning that he would still hold 49% and remain the largest shareholder. Olivia called David, but he ignored her as he had promised to spend the entire evening drinking with Rose. The next morning, Olivia's malicious son poured a bucket of water onto Lily's bed, and Olivia scolded Lily for not getting up earlier instead of reprimanding her son. Later, Olivia took her son to ride the Ferris wheel but deliberately left Lily locked alone in the car. Sitting alone, Lily reminisced about her late mother and the happy times they had shared, overwhelmed by how much she missed her. Michael was anxious as he checked Rose's hair and clothes, asking her if she had spent the entire night with David. When she refused to answer, he leaned in closer, pressing her for the truth. Rose asked him why he cared so much. Was it because he liked her? Michael was shy but didn't deny it. She pushed him away, telling him her personal life was none of his business. Suddenly, Michael pulled her in and kissed her. Rose widened her eyes in shock and quickly turned away from his kiss. Michael wiped the lipstick from her lips and playfully patted her head. He asked again what she had been doing the previous night. Rose finally confessed that she had been negotiating with David. She revealed that not only did she now own 41% of the company's shares, but she had also retained the 10% she had as Maria, bringing her total to 51%, enough to surpass David's ownership. She planned to reveal her true identity on the day of the collaboration announcement, ensuring her ex-husband's family lost everything. Meanwhile, Lily was left locked in the car for too long, causing her to pass out from lack of oxygen. Bystanders outside desperately banged on the windows, trying to wake her. Rose happened to pass by and was horrified to find her daughter unconscious in the car. Michael smashed the car window with his fist, and they rushed Lily to the hospital. Olivia, upon learning about the incident, was furious about the broken window but faced heavy criticism from onlookers for her negligence. She was informed that Lily had fallen unconscious, instantly filling her with fear as she worried that David would blame her. When Lily regained consciousness, she tearfully told her father that Olivia had intentionally locked her in the car and begged him to make Olivia stop hitting her. David noticed the bruises on Lily's arm and, infuriated, slapped Olivia. During the confrontation, he accidentally discovered that Olivia's facial scar was fake. David was stunned. He had always believed Olivia was the little girl who had saved him in his youth. However, the truth was that the girl who had saved him was Maria, his late wife and now Rose. Olivia confessed that she had been pretending all along to secure a place in David's life. Years ago, Olivia and Maria had attended the same school. Upon learning that the wealthy David was searching for the scarred girl who had saved him, Olivia read Maria's diary, which detailed her childhood memories with David and their promise to marry. Olivia, desperate to marry into wealth, applied a fake scar to her face and impersonated Maria. David, realizing his mistake, was devastated. Despite his mother's plea to forgive Olivia as she was pregnant, David ordered a paternity test, suspecting both Olivia's son and her unborn child might not be his. The test results confirmed his suspicions. Neither child was biologically related to him. Enraged, David's mother hit Olivia, and David stripped her of all her assets, throwing her out of their home. He entered his daughter's room and saw her sleeping while holding a family photo. Filled with guilt and regret, he decided to find a new wife who would be good to his daughter, believing Rose would be perfect. The following day, Rose received a bouquet of roses from David. Michael, consumed with jealousy, confessed his feelings for her, telling her he liked her very much. When David called to invite Rose to dinner, Michael threw the roses and passionately kissed her against the wall. David later asked Rose to care for Lily for a few days, and she agreed. When Lily's grandmother attempted to force her to drink cockroach soup, claiming it was a remedy to strengthen her health, Rose intervened. The incident reminded Rose of how this same ignorant woman had once forced her to drink cow dung soup in hopes of conceiving twins. Seizing her chance for revenge, Rose forced the old woman to drink the cockroach soup instead. David returned home to learn about the incident and decided to send his mother to a nursing home. Ignoring her pleas, he had bodyguards escort her out. As she was taken away, Rose bid her farewell, saying to her, "Everything has been arranged at the nursing home. You'll surely live well there, Mom." Hearing Rose call her Mom, the old woman was terrified, but Rose calmly watched her leave with a smile. David gifted Rose a necklace and put it on her, but Michael witnessed the scene and worried Rose might fall for David again. Later, at work, Michael cut the necklace with scissors and offered her a new one, which she refused. Michael tried to kiss her, but she stopped him, telling him he needed to win her daughter's acceptance before she would consider accepting him. Rose visited the nursing home, where David's mother grabbed her hand and asked if she was Maria. Rose finally admitted the truth, revealing that David was on the brink of bankruptcy because she now held the majority of the company's shares. The grandmother broke down completely. Michael spent time playing games with Lily, a scene Rose happened to witness. Lily told her mother she liked Uncle Michael very much. The three of them spent a joyful day together, during which Rose began to see Michael's sincerity. That night, Rose kissed Michael in the car, and he passionately kissed her back, holding her face tenderly. The next day, during the collaboration signing ceremony, Rose publicly announced herself as the new president of the company. David, shocked, looked at the share certificates and finally realized that Rose was his late wife, Maria. He begged for her forgiveness, but she refused and ordered the security guards to throw him out. As the new president, Rose signed the collaboration agreement with Michael, finally achieving her revenge. Outside the company, Rose slapped David hard and declared that she would ensure he lost everything. Soon after, David was investigated for tax evasion, resulting in the seizure of his assets. His mother was kicked out of the nursing home, left homeless, and eventually lost her sanity. Rose once again met the old monk. She had revealed her true identity, believing she didn't have much time left to live. However, the old monk told her that someone was willing to exchange her life for hers, so she wouldn't have to die. Rose asked who she was, but the monk refused to answer. In truth, it was her daughter Lily who had made the sacrifice, willing to give up her life to save her mother. The monk told Lily she had 3 days to spend with her mother, but Lily begged for a month, wanting to see her mother marry Michael and find happiness before she left. The old monk agreed. A month later, Rose prepared a surprise proposal ceremony for Michael. Lily placed a veil on him, and Rose knelt on one knee, taking out a ring to propose. Michael, touched, placed the veil on her head, knelt on one knee as well, and proposed to her in return. After putting the ring on her finger, they embraced and kissed happily. However, Lily suddenly had a nosebleed and collapsed. She tearfully confessed to her mother that she had made a deal with the old monk. She had agreed to give up her life in exchange for her mother's revival and to become the monk's disciple. Now that she had seen her mother find happiness, she could leave in peace. Lily closed her eyes, and Rose watched in horror as her daughter's soul left with the monk, realizing in that moment that she had lost her daughter. Months later, Lily had become the monk's disciple, but she still deeply missed her mother.